Hi, it's Dr. Karin. If you're a high achiever in life or business, then you appreciate the enormous value of having an edge. Maybe that's your physical fitness, your morning routine, reading good books, meditating. There are loads of ways to improve your performance on a daily basis. In this video, I want to share some insights from my 20 years of helping individuals to unlock their brilliance, step into their power, and create astonishing transformations in their lives. I guarantee you won't have heard of these mindset tips anywhere else. Let's go. So as we're looking at the idea of reprogramming your mind, it is really important to look at why and how your mind has gotten to be the way that it is. And it's gotten that way because you've been programmed, okay? When you were born into this planet, into this earth as a spiritual being, having this human experience, you were born with a very high frequency. You didn't feel guilt. You were ready to have a really good time. You reached for the things that you wanted. You pushed away the things that you didn't. You expressed emotion freely and without apology, right? When you think about a little baby and a toddler, like that is your innate essence. Now, as you grow through life, you're molded by your parents, society, by different systems, schools, because they are molding you in a way that they were also molded. So we're in a new frequency on the planet. We're having a collective shift right now. We're going through this great awakening. And so if you're here listening to my video, my guess is that you really want to take part in not only reprogramming yourself, but being a part of this collective awakening on the planet. And by doing that, we really need to shift away from that programming, that narrative imprint that's in our minds that we were taught as kids, as adolescents, as we matured. Now, those narratives can sound like the world's out to get you, like you're kind of in a victim mindset, everyone's always doing things to you. It might sound like life is supposed to be really hard, right? You gotta hustle and burn to earn. You gotta go through so much pain to get to the glory. Maybe one of the mindsets you have is around your physical health. Maybe your parents told you forever that your DNA is set up to get a certain disease, or maybe you're wired to be dysfunctional in your emotional health. Those are all imprints that affect your life journey. And one of the main things that you were probably taught is not to trust your gut instinct. We're taught to reach outside of ourselves, to go on the internet, to go to our parents, to go to certain people and ask for opinions, to compare ourselves to others, and to base our decisions on all of this external input instead of returning to the own divine guidance within ourselves. And those are the reasons I want to talk to you and help you with reprogramming your mind. Because if you look at all of those negative things and imprints and all that mind-boggling stuff that's always floating through your monkey mind, my question to you is, how is it serving you? How is it really affecting your life? Because what's happening is, and we're going to talk about energy, your thoughts and beliefs are creating an energetic field around you. Through your thoughts, your emotions, and your beliefs, you're producing an aura around you, and that aura is what you're walking around with as a human, as a magnetic being. And what happens with universal forces, universal energy, is that it's always conspiring to prove you right. So whatever mindset, whatever belief, whatever self-deprecating thing you've got going on in your mind, you're carrying that as a magnet into the world, and you will, not by default, but by choice, because this is what you're choosing to emanate with. And now as you do better, we can reprogram you to be better. You are going to directly be attracting things that prove those belief systems right. So what happens in the reprogramming stage is we want to look at what is actually happening to you mechanically, okay? So you have a trigger event. You have something that reminds you of something probably in your past that stirs anger, regret, shame, fear, whatever it is, all right? Then what happens is your body produces an emotion that matches that. And the emotion is something that you learned to express, that you learned to feel, that was embedded in you based on a habit of experience growing up. So this is an automatic loop. And then what happens with that emotion is you then emanate an energetic field about you. Then you usually act in a behavioral way. You usually have a reaction to the trigger, the thought, the emotion, and then the belief that comes from it. And you are creating a thought cycle loop inside of your body, inside of your experience. And what we want to do, the way I see it is, how wheels can turn and you can stick a stick in them to prevent them from continuing the cycle? Well, we're going to stick a stick in this cycle that you have developed over time, that has become habit for you, and we're going to do things differently so that you can reprogram the way that you usually play out your thought, emotion, and belief cycle. So what I want you to know to empower you, and Joe Dispenza does a beautiful job of teaching on this. If you haven't checked out Joe Dispenza's work, you should definitely check it out, because he talks so much about the fact that even though it feels like a hardwired program, like these habits that I've been talking about that have been programmed into you. You are not hardwired. You actually have a software program, especially if you are working on your spiritual frequency and you're wanting really to up level in your life. When you reach new frequencies and you're more conscious, when your consciousness is raising and you're paying more attention to your thoughts, you are able then to raise your vibrational field to a point where you're intercepting these habits of negativity. And in that, the reprogramming can be so magical for how your life is playing out on a daily basis. So the first thing that I want you to do is start being more conscious of what you're thinking. Start really paying attention to what the narrative is going through your mind. When I'm working with clients, I'm working on, all right, let's stop right here. Tell me the story in your head. So think about the story that's going through your head when you're triggered in a relationship, you're triggered by a workmate, you're triggered by an experience that you have on a daily basis, and what that mindset thought loop is that's going through you, that's then triggering that emotion and that reaction, all right? The more conscious you are of what that loop is in your head, the more quickly you're gonna be able to reprogram your energy. So look at, are you having a victim consciousness kind of going through? Do you kind of feel like people are always out to get you? Do you walk around thinking that the world is mostly bad? Oh, nothing good ever happens to me? Is this what you've been trained to believe? Because if it is, you are creating your reality. The conclusions they're coming to in consciousness research right now is that matter is not affecting your field. So what's happening to you is not necessarily affecting your field, but your field is what's creating the experiences that you're having, okay? So the field is affecting the matter. Therefore, you can feel really empowered over knowing that you are actually creating your reality. You are picking on a daily basis because of what is coming energetically off of you through your mind, thought, emotion, reaction loop. You are creating the field that is creating the matter that then is going to be coming to you. That is so freaking powerful. So the first step that you can take in reprogramming your mind is to do it very first thing in the morning. So when you wake up, likely the first thing you do when you turn the light on is reach for your phone, right? We want to stop that normal behavior. So the way that we reprogram is by getting in the way. So make the commitment right now in this now moment to yourself to take 3 minutes in the morning each day to stick a stick in that spoke of normal habit and focus on something that you really want in your day. Take some deep breaths. Tune out all of the negative catastrophizing fear and all the regret from whatever happened yesterday. It is a new day. You can start over right in this minute. Connect to something higher, whatever your higher power is. Take a deep breath and ask for the white light of God, that's my higher power, to wash over you. Take a deep breath, open your energy centers, and think about an outcome that you really desire in that day. Think about the joy, the love, the success, whatever it is that you want to achieve, that you want to see yourself doing for 3 minutes in the morning. Focus on the outcome that you desire and feel the feelings of pride, of joy, of self-appreciation, of other appreciation that you're going to have when you achieve that point of success in your day, and let it ruminate. By doing that for 3 minutes in the morning, you are not only choosing that timeline of completion of success in your life, but you're setting energetically a set point then that starts this reprogramming process, because the higher your frequency is, the less able you are to hold lower frequencies of guilt and shame. And when they start popping up and you start going back to that old wiring, you will notice it that much quicker, and your recovery time will be so much quicker because your higher frequency cannot contain them. So I'm about to give you some in the moment techniques to reprogram your mind for good. But before I give those to you, if you love higher energy information like this, make sure you like this video and then click the button and subscribe to my channel so you know when all my leading edge content gets dropped in YouTube. Back to the video. So in the moment when you're triggered, one of the easiest techniques that you can do is actually do a one-word affirmation that deletes the energetic movement of a certain thought through your mind. So if you get triggered throughout the day, you can do this one simple thing, and that is literally in your mind to say the word stop. I have a friend that uses the word delete. Okay, so whichever one of those resonates with you, when you have a thought that starts going down the rabbit hole of fear, maybe you think, I don't know, your partner's gonna break up with you or cheat on you. Maybe you think you're not gonna succeed in this business venture that you're on and you're scared the contract's gonna fall through and you start catastrophizing. When you're more conscious of your thoughts, like I've been training you to do in this video, and you realize, oh gosh, I'm picking a lower timeline, I'm attaching to negative energy, I'm catastrophizing, literally say in your mind, stop. or delete. And I want you to practice literally getting in the way of that thought, letting it move through. Okay, here's something really important. Do not judge yourself for having the thought. Do not put more guilt on top of you for having the thought. In this process of stopping and deleting the old kind of thought pattern mindset that you've had, you have to give yourself grace and compassion for the reason that they're there. Because I will tell you right now, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is to accept that none of this is your fault. When you go into self-acceptance and know, look, none of this is my fault, this is because, now this does not mean that we're setting up a victim mindset. We're not gonna blame your parents and your ex for it. We're just gonna have some self-acceptance in it and some compassion for myself that, wow, I've been wired this way because of experiences I've been through. It's not my fault, but what is my responsibility now is to change and rewire this thought pattern that's not working for me. So we're going to give ourselves compassion. We're just going to let those thoughts, those catastrophizing, fear-based, guilt-based thoughts, just let them pass through. Recognize, oh yeah, I know why that's there. I'm going to give myself compassion for that. And then we're going to say, replace. And I want you to energetically go back to that thought. Remember when we talked about the morning routine where you attach to something that you really want to see happen in your life? So when you say replace, I want you to simply replace that thought for any other thought idea that is outside of this fear that makes you feel happy. It is really that simple. Pick a better feeling thought. Focus, if you're in a room or an airport or an office space, look around and find something that you can find joy in that makes you happy. Detach yourself from the negative thought and just focus on something that brings you joy. Do that for 1 minute, and by doing that, you actually, so we look at it as like a cork kind of being pulled under when those negative emotions come. When you do that, you release the negative emotion and your cork rises to the surface and you start to bob again. That's part of reprogramming that old thought pattern. One of the other ways this kind of thought interruption works is when you're walking, if you're in movement and you start to find yourself going down the rabbit hole and you're kind of in a space where you're like, like I'm doing it again. I want you to do this really wonderful technique that I learned from Abraham Hicks, and that is looking at things as you walk that you can find joy in and telling them that they're your favorite. I know this sounds simple and childlike, but that's the best part about it. When we can connect to childlike activities and childlike imaginative, fun, joyful, funny thoughts, we are disconnecting from those old catastrophic thought patterns that really bring density to our bodies. Because you guys, what's happening when you're going to that very adultish way of thinking that makes you feel afraid and regretful that you've been trained to do? You are negatively affecting your physical body. You are dropping your immunity, you are contracting your ability to fight off disease, you're minimizing your immune system, you're actually bringing more dis-ease into your body when you're attaching to and letting those negative emotions sit in your energy field. So we want to be more childlike. We want to bring more lightness to your life and do things that feel fun, because the more you're practicing these, the more they will become your normal and your automatic, and you will start reprogramming the way that you've been programmed to think. So I want you to walk around and just say to the leaves, find a leaf that you find super pretty and say in your mind or out loud, you're my favorite leaf today. If there's a red leaf on the ground, you're my favorite red leaf that I've ever seen. If there's a dog that walks by, you're my favorite funny-eared dog that's ever been there. A mailbox that you like the color of, you're my favorite mailbox color of the day. That simple activity as you walk interrupts that thought cycle that you're used to doing on a daily basis. And a lot of the thought cycle that you're likely doing is shaming yourself in your head over regretful things that you think you shouldn't have done in the past. When we're shooting all over ourselves, we are dropping our energy levels so low and we're contracting our aura, and you don't want that anymore because you're on a spiritual path to growth. So connect to those things in your field, in your environment that you love, and you will immediately watch your cork come up to the surface, and you will start reprogramming yourself to operate at a higher level of frequency and consciousness that will therefore draw things into your field. It will magnetize more things into your field that match that level of joy and appreciation, and that's what you want. And the last tip I'm going to give you is super important, and that is to pay attention to the conversations that you're having with certain people that are recurring, because again, that is a programmed habit that you have with that person. I want you to be very intentional moving forward. This is going to be a huge piece of your spiritual growth, and that is to intercept the normal, engaging conversations that you have with people that stir negative energy with you. This may be a girlfriend of yours that you're always going to be talking about your ex, how you saw your ex on social media and it makes you angry or jealous or whatever it is. Those are really negative emotions. Maybe it's someone that's always bitching about someone in the workplace and it makes you angry again. Again, anything, any person that is stirring a continued, a habitual conversation with you, and that topic always comes up, and as you're being more conscious, you're noticing, this is really making me feel bad. Like, this is not the frequency that I want to hold, because the frequency that you want to hold as you're elevating your personal life, your spiritual life, your professional life, is the frequency of love, of hopefulness, of joy, and of appreciation. And when you're speaking negatively about someone or something, you're dropping your vibration very low, and you cannot attract those things to you that look like aligned prosperity and abundance into your life. So be really, really attentive to the habitual conversations you're having with people, and then be conscious about backing away from them, letting them know that you're not going to engage in those conversations, changing the subject, and being more conscious of the energy that you're putting out into the world. So if this video got you really excited about furthering your spiritual growth, I have a free audio series that I want to offer you. It's called the Trifecta of Transformation, and it is a guide to walking through the awakening journey. And I talk about all things spiritual, all things energetic, and it is free and it's just for you. Grab it by clicking the link below. I hope all these tips on reprogramming your mindset helps you to accelerate your success in the future. I'll see you in the next video.